Woke has one purpose, only one purpose. Plenty of pretexts, but only one purpose: control. It is designed to divide people by race, by gender, by ethnicity, by religion, by vaccine status, and any other way that they can divide people into groups. Because why? Then you can justify having a government to control all those groups. No more woke. We need freedom.
I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly.
You guys saw from the intro. One thing I always point out on this channel is how wokeness is weaponized empathy for political ends, right? And I just saw you two examples of that. Donald Trump decided to speak at Davos, and he's sending a strong message to these globalist elites who think they can run all of the world through their limited perspective of how things should be, right? Donald Trump slams bankers to their face at the World Economic Forum for debanking conservatives. Remarks comes after numerous conservatives have allegedly been targeted by banks. And this is something we saw in Canada. We saw numerous examples of this throughout the world, right? And Davos is out here groveling to Trump now, but Trump is sending a strong message. You saw with his executive orders, a strong message. Trump's administration begins deportation flights. If you're illegal entering the United States of America, you will face severe consequences. And this is something that Americans longed for. They wanted this to happen, right? And Davos, right? And there's a lot of things that Trump is doing. For instance,
I happen to agree with him.
Trump signed an executive order to revoke CDC.
He said, "Could you mention this? I will."
Centralized currency.
Never. He said, "I love Vivek." I love him too now. I didn't love him when he was running, but I like him now. It's amazing the way you can like somebody when you win, right? But Vivek is great. He's really great. But he wanted this, and I'll give him full credit for it. It's very important, actually. I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
So Trump just signed an executive order on that, breaking. Sorry, guys, I'm going all over the place. Breaking, Donald Trump signed an executive order officially banning the creation of a central bank digital currency, which hurts the ambitions of the World Economic Forum, who claims that they want a more safe and prosperous world. That's the pretext they mean of control. And this is going to be the name of this video. It's like wokeness demands control. Wokeness wants control. Wokeness tries to disguise control as some way of some empathy. This is why I say it's weaponized empathy, right? As you saw from my latest intro, I talk about the illegals and the border crossings and how, you know, Davos is going to be here complaining about, oh my God, there's such a lack of trust. And this is the funny part. You see how they switch up? Trump's in power. Trump points out their hypocrisy. Trump points out how essentially he won't respect them trying to do this little globalist slant that they're doing at the expense of the American people, right? On Davos, on World Economic Forum, they always talking about misinformation. Disinformation is the biggest threat in the world over war, terrorism, poverty. You're the World Economic Forum, but you're worrying about speech. And this is why Donald Trump came out and called out bankers to their face about debanking conservatives. Let's take a look.
And by the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives, because what you're doing is wrong.
Mr. President, I will say that your friend Gianni said hello, told me to tell you hello, and we look forward to sponsoring the World Cup when it comes, both this summer for the club and next year. So thank you for getting that for the United States.
Yeah. So they're here kissing up to him now. All right. And that's a different tune that they're singing now, because now they want to be about unity. Now they want to be like, oh, we want people to be able to express themselves. Let's take a look at this clip from Larry Fink. And I'm going to kind of highlight some things that kind of hurts this kind of walk back they're doing now. Let's take a look.
What I worry about is the breakdown of trust. We talk about populism and this polarization of opinion. I mean, I think dialogues like this here in Berlin, dialogues last week at the UN in New York, we need to have more conversations. We need to create a greater ability to create trust and relationships. I think the greatest, history books will talk about the greatest breakdown of trust was during COVID when we lacked that conversation. I think so much of the global outcomes was that breakdown in trust. When I think about the rise of social media, we see that breakdown in trust. Trust is not texting each other across the table. Trust is having conversations, having communication, having bondings together. And I think we are losing touch. And I think, to me, this is one of the greatest problems. And it's very hard for a business to respond to these issues. But we need, as all leaders, both political and business leaders, finding ways of rebuilding trust. And to me, this is one of the biggest issues that I have with the rise of populism and the anger that we are seeing with the rise of populism. We need to find ways of coming together to create a common ground to try to help more people build a more common, more prosperous future.
So they talk about they want, open discussions. Things are polarizing. Populism is just enraged. No, populism is a response when the community and the people recognize that those people who are in power, people who are supposed to set the direction of governance, are not working in our interest. This is the reality. Many people see Davos and World Economic Forums as these people who loot the middle class to enrich billionaires. This is how many people see the World Economic Forum. And you see it seems like a cabal of people trying to control the world. If there was a television show about people trying to dominate and control how the world should be, Davos is the prime example of that in real life. If Elon Musk is the real life version of Iron Man, then Davos is the real life version of an alliance trying to control the world. First, post a lie. Immediately turn off your comments so people won't call you out on your lies. Forget that community notes exist and gets embarrassed. Bank of America saves more than 70 million comments, and we welcome conservatives. We'll never close accounts for political reasons and don't have political litmus tests. The community notes. Bank of America has been placed on notice by 15 state attorney generals for debanking conservatives. Your discriminatory behavior is a serious threat to free speech and religious freedom, is potentially illegal, and is causing political and regulatory backlash, Kansas AG Chris Karbach wrote. Right? So this does sound like Larry Fink and them wants unity. They want all this stuff. And I want you guys to check out this segment here. She's my favorite. This lady's my favorite. I always forget her name. But she's going to kind of articulate exactly what Trump just did by putting the world on notice about, hey, look, he's back.
Saw was the total capitulation of the global elites to Donald Trump, the tribune of the American working class. The same people who have endlessly mocked him and laughed at him and booed him and tried to destroy him are now.
And then, yeah, imagine that. And then you got Larry Fink out here trying to pretend like, oh, we just so polarized, so divided. No, you stir up the hornet's nest because you thought you couldn't get stung. You mocked Donald Trump. You mocked his movement. You mocked populism, right? This is the arrogance of the globalists. They mock populism, but populism is rising all around the world, from France, all across Europe. Populism is rising, and they continue undermining, mocking the people, the world, the people of the world, because they think they know best for you. What's going on right now? Populism is like a revolutionary going against a monarchy. The people are rising up against a monarchy. These people literally see themselves as nobles. Oh, we deserve to run the world. We think we know what's best for you. And populism is like, no, you're only there because we believe you have our best interest. The minute the people of the world suspect that their government is no longer working in their interest, people will no longer give consent to be governed by people like you, because governance is a two-way street. This is something that elites like Larry Fink and them seem to forget. It's a two-way street. You only govern if we consent for you to govern us. Governing us without consent is tyranny. And they're pretending that they have all this power. And this is why they're capitulating to Donald Trump right now. This is why they're trying to say, oh, we're happy to sponsor your Olympics in LA in 2028. But look at all their past actions. They're talking about censorship, misinformation, disinformation, right-wing disinformation. They're ostracizing one side for political reasons. And now they're going to sit here, Larry Fink in the clip I just showed you, is going to sit here and pretend, oh, we want people to express ourselves. We want to humanize it. Get out of here. Garbage. But let's continue.
Now on their knees, Laura, begging for a scrap of his approval. And the reason for that is what you led with. They are terrified of him because Donald Trump's vision that nation states must exist, that national borders are crucial, and that a nation owes something to its citizens, this view has simply triumphed over their view that you can endlessly pillage the middle class and the working class economically and culturally. They think you measure the health of an economy based on how many private jets a billionaire has, and Trump thinks you measure the health of an economy based on whether that billionaire's cleaning lady and plumber can afford to buy a home. And it's Donald Trump's nationalism that is winning the day, thank God. You love to see it. It is just delicious.
And that's why I'm a nationalist. For globalists, they're accountable to nobody. Globalism is a good way, we care about the world's problems. That's what climate change is about. This is why Donald Trump took us out of the World Health Organization. It's just another way for people to dictate, hey, nations, we all should be carbon copies of of each other based on the perception of a small group of people who think they know best for you. This is why they're so against illegal migrants. Right? This is why they're so against us deporting illegal migrants, because they believe, we're just reshuffling people. We all one citizen. No, we all don't come from the same culture. We all don't have the same perspective on life. We don't have the same legal setup, legal systems. So you just think you can interchangeably switch people across countries? Make it make sense.
Aaron, the officials here, the Illinois governor, Chicago's mayor, people I've spoken with, other, the congressman who represents this area, they have all made very clear they have no problem with these stepped-up enforcements against violent criminals. But what they are very concerned about is that these enforcements are also going to capture people who otherwise have no criminal record. And so that is the major concern.
You broke the law the minute you came into this country uninvited. And this is what I'm talking about. Democrats have shown themselves to be the party of globalists. Democrats claim that they're concerned about ICE sweeping up nonviolent illegal immigrants in ICE raids, but their refusal to cooperate is why ICE has to do the raids in the first place, right? They want to talk about misinformation, disinformation. Here's Glenn Greenwald calling out the media. This is what happened in almost every major corporate media outlet in a country. A form of journalistic corruption so extreme and glaring that nothing can mitigate it. I obviously experienced this firsthand and quit over it, but it's happening everywhere. Just in, two political reporters, Mark Caputo of Axios and Tara Polomiri of Puck, admitted their ex-employers blocked negative stories about the big guy and Hunter. Don't write about the laptop. Don't talk about the laptop. Ace reporters claim Politico killed negative Biden stories. But Davos, Larry Fink says, we just want people to have open expressions of beliefs. Bank of America denying that they censored conservatives. The standard practice for the lying media is to call people Nazis, right? To deny truth. And Larry Fink's out here, I'm worried about the breakdown of trust. Yeah, because you caused it. That's why you're worried about it, because it's your fault. We need both political and business leaders to rebuild trust. How can you rebuild trust when one side is actively set out to discredit you, to destroy you, to keep you from speaking? History books will talk about the greatest breakdown of trust was during COVID, when we lacked that conversation. Because of who? That's what I would put after this sentence. Because of who? Which global organization was saying that we need to be better on cracking down on misinformation, disinformation? Davos, World Economic Forum. Trump just finished calling y'all out. Misinformation, disinformation are terms used to justify silencing people from expressing their views. This is why he signed that executive order to prevent government censorship. And you'll no longer recognize that freedom of expression from Americans such as myself, who has criticisms of Larry Fink and Davos, that you can't just censor me because I said something you don't like. And this is typical of people on the left. That's why the liberal world order is crumbling. Remember Lindy Lee? She's going to hear expressed in this 52-second clip how the party of love, the party of openness, actively smeared her, called her slurs, just from the fact that she decided to change her mind and turned against them. This is why I said the Democrats, these World Economic Forum people, they see themselves as a separate class from everyone else, and they only do things in their own best interest. How is this not authoritarians? A small group of people deciding how the world should operate, and they so happen to benefit from how the world benefit from the direction the world goes. A lot of Democrats, a lot of these globalists are mad that the United States left the Paris Accord, not because we're putting the planet in danger from our carbon emissions, because the United States will no longer fund their little pet projects and their little people and their little cabal money from the government, from the people. And this is why I said that socialism is slavery. You extract the money, the labor, the production of the people for the benefit of a small group of people who are managing and administrating the government. This is socialism. Socialism is slavery. But I digress. Let's look at Lindy Lee and her comment here.
I'm just no longer a member of the DNC, and this is also not what I envisioned. I had envisioned cleaning up house internally and trying to fix it as a Democrat, but events have left me no choice. Being called the B word, the C word, the W word, a spy every single day on an hourly basis will break your soul.
Right.
And you can only take so much as a human being. So, they were...
Yeah, so you've been roundly abused by the Democrats. Presumably
The tolerant left, huh?
You've lost long friends over this, have you?
I've lost more than I can count. But they weren't really friends to begin with, right? If I could lose them over this. My real friends are with me no matter what.
Exactly.
But I lost political friends. In politics, you have transactional friends and then you have real friends. And I lost all my transactional friends.
A lot of Democrats have friendships over transactional. Oh, as long as you believe my orthodoxies, we're fine. Make that make sense. Democrats abuse me with racist, and sexist slurs, call me a spy, even though the Chinese Communist Party murdered my great-grandfather. Telling the truth about a party of woke comes at a great cost. They will destroy you. And I pointed this out numerous times on my channel about how Democratic women are the least tolerant people in the United States of America. Wokeness is always about control. They try to control you with empathy. They try to gaslight you into doing something that you know rationally doesn't benefit, isn't practical, isn't helpful. But the Democrats can benefit off of it. Oh, we need to keep illegals in this country. The illegals are costing us $107 billion per year to maintain them in this country. And it's taking resources from American citizens. You don't have no compassion. You're so cruel. You're so cruel. You don't let people abuse your laws and stay here. Make it make sense. This is the messaging they're trying to do. Only a globalist can listen to that and believe that. Hey, take care of these people, take care of these foreigners, take care of these outsiders at the expense of your own community, your own people that contribute to the system. What? Globalists literally sit there and believe you should do something that's detrimental to your own national sovereignty, to your own national security, to your own citizens' safety to appease them and how they think the world should be. From the bottom line is, all this crap that these people like to spew, all this fake virtue signaling they like to do, this fake outrage, this fake moral outrage, it's always a means to gaslight you to give them control. From climate change to misinformation to polarization. They're worried about polarization, but they don't want to talk about how they cause polarization. Wokeness caused polarization. Polarization happened when cancel culture was a thing in the 2010s, 15s. The 2015s, people losing their jobs over the political opinions. Engineers in Google losing their jobs because they express an opinion or a fact that is inconvenient to a worldview to liberal Google. Make it make sense. But now they get the consequences of their actions 4 years later, 10 years later. Now they want to sit here and pretend that they was never a part of it in the first place. They wanted people canceled because they didn't want to wear a face mask. Y'all remember COVID? Oh, breakdown of trust. Yeah, you caused the breakdown of trust. You worshiped a man called Anthony Fauci when he was just lying out of his butt, using his position as an expert to push control. Oh, I believe you guys should wear a mask just because. Will the mask stop anything? No, but it'll make people feel better about being around you. Draconian rule. But I'm glad that people around the world, it's not just America, people around the world are trending towards, nah, we need to prioritize our first. We need to be able to help ourselves first before we have the ability to help someone else later. That's the reality of human nature. Humans are social creatures. We like to align ourselves in tribal-like situations. I'm an American. If you're from Africa, me and you are different black people. Hey, look, how I grew up in America is different how a black person grows up in Africa. There's certain things in Africa that they do that we don't do here in America. But globalists think we all can just live kumbaya together without no friction. Make it make sense. Wokeness is in decline. And as you see, Trump ain't playing around. Trump ain't messing around. Americans ain't messing around. And many people around the world ain't messing around with this anymore. And now they're falling back. Now they realize, oh, shoot, we effed up. Hell yeah, you effed up because you showed your true colors. When you had everything going your way, we saw your true colors. Now you're trying to act like you're something else now. Yeah, okay. I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What you guys are thinking about the decline of wokeness. And do you agree with me? Wokeness is nothing more than a mechanism or a pretext for control. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching the end of the video. If you found this insightful, please share. It really helps out the channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.